What's up, guys? Today marks 1 year for me at IBM, so I just want to record a video. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about how to direct this video, just because you look very confused.
What?
I'm recording a video because it's been a year for me at IBM.
Okay.
I guess technically it's yesterday, because now it's like 2 a.m., but yesterday marked a year, and I just kind of wanted to talk about, I don't know, what would you record a video about? I'm just going to record this raw, no edits, and just post it, because I don't have time to do anything else. But what would you want to hear?
The growth you've experienced.
The growth I've experienced. That's a good one. That's literally all it is too that I care to talk about. Literally ever since I started at IBM a year ago, I finally, the thing I didn't have for most of my life, I finally had, which was independence financially and just mentally and everything else to do the things I wanted to do. And for the first time, because when I was working for Gary Vee in New York, I had income. It was $15 an hour in New York, and that wasn't enough to do anything with. I was barely, some weeks I didn't even get paid because I filed my hours wrong or whatever. Me and Raghav used to joke about it, but we literally, both of us would just be standing in the kitchen at VaynerMedia, laughing about how we're both not going to be able to eat. But so yeah, once I started at IBM, for the first time, I'd been at home for a minute too, so I was finally I can be free, I don't have to listen to anything my parents say. I can go where I want, when I want. No one can hold me down, and it was cool. On top of that, that's when I really started playing. Hired an assistant. I don't know if you remember this, but hired an assistant within a month, and then fired her, and then got an apartment that no one knew about, and wow. And then just was traveling all the time, literally every few days. I feel like I was in a plane or in a different city or driving somewhere, and just meeting a lot of people. Moved to LA. That took a serious investment cash wise, and I helped move seven people to LA, and then eventually more. And just being able to help people was a big thing at the time. I was really I was spending a lot of money on other people, whether it was music gear or helping them get an apartment or helping them whatever. That was big. And just investing in opportunities, investing in events, right? Events, opportunities to meet people, go to concerts, and for me, concerts are meetings. So I wouldn't have met Stevie if I didn't pay for this Tanaj concert and fly to LA to do that. I didn't just a lot of travel and meeting people and doing things. And that was it's funny, right? This video is supposed to be one year at IBM, but I'm talking about everything that's not IBM, because what having a full-time job like that kind of enabled me to do is everything on the side. So it was really everything from 6 p.m. to midnight or 2 a.m. or whatever that created the growth, right? There's plenty of growth that was at IBM as well. Don't get me wrong, so much of the stuff that we've talked about, understanding how companies work, cost structure, revenue, just basic things, but then also corporate culture, how to play those politics, how to just how to deal with people, plus even the technical aspects of what's involved. And you and I talked today about starting businesses and things like that, and whether it's in the tech sector or otherwise, a lot of that comes from me seeing what I've seen, because I've worked with McDonald's, with Honda, with State of New York, I've worked with Walmart, now we're doing stuff with healthcare systems. There was other things in between internally, and just seeing all of that, and different sides to it, right? Project management, technical things, pitching, billing and proposal, or bidding and proposal stuff. So just all over the place. So that's been huge. I've gone from periods where I'm on the bench, not doing any work for a period of weeks or even month, or to having 19-hour days and not getting any sleep. And so it's been all across the spectrum. I think one of the bigger things is growth wise, from where I was at a year ago to where I'm at now, I'm just more in my own self, more confident is I guess what I'd say, but it sounds stupid to say it that way. I know more. One, there's more self-awareness about who I am. When I started IBM, I was like, there was a lot of imposter syndrome about like, this is a technical company. I'm a computer science person, but I'm not like that into it, you know, and like, but then I realized like now I'm at the point where it's like I can fully, you know, I was talking to a very high up person today and it's like, yep, no, I definitely like I'm more into talking to people. Like these are my strengths. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm weak at. And it's just more acceptance of who I am and what I am, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, which is self-awareness like Gary talks about. A lot more empathy, right? Like being able to look at people's calendars and see different people's structures and like for example, my manager right now is looking at like 50 different proposals or more. And it's like, we're here struggling with one, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, understanding, you know, like when, for example, like for the other day, he didn't respond to us. And I'm like, don't worry, he's seeing all of our messages and we just need to keep him informed. So communication, the big thing like has been maturity wise, like now I feel so much more responsibility. Like there was a time period where, we talked about this, but where I wasn't pulling my weight. And it was just, you know, failing and messing up and realizing one, I can fail like really badly and people don't really care. They just care about getting the stuff done and looking good to the clients and me. Like I think one of the things I realized is like if I don't communicate to people, they're more concerned like, is he okay? They don't care about like, is he delivering or is he not? They're like, is he good? And then on top of that, like I can always come back from it, right? Like even if I mess up for 3 months straight, like as long as I make the effort to try to be better. And you've seen this, you've seen like right when you started is like when he was like, yo, you've been doing a great job over the last few months, like really seen it turn around, like really good work, like, and that's actually even better than if I was just doing a great job the whole time, you know? So people like to see improvement. But I think the big growth there for me once after I stopped slacking is, wow, like they're paying my bills, you know, like they're allowing me to do all this stuff. I should feel a responsibility to them to do my best job and try and I shouldn't, it's wrong for me to not do, you know, and that's, no one should act like most people don't need that lesson, but when you're side hustling as strong, as hard as I was, like I needed that wake up call of like, yo, come on, like this is be responsible, be an adult. And that was literally, there was a time when my phone background on my phone was like just responsibility. And now it's choices. But yeah, so that was big. And now like, this is why, like it was 1:45 in the morning and I'm like, all right, what's going on this project? Like, let's take a look. Like, so, you know, even though I'm doing other things on the side now, like I still feel a strong responsibility to do a good job and you know, they were here first, right? So they come first. And I wouldn't be here with everything I have going on for me in life if it wasn't for them. So a lot of people shit on things like this. They're like, yo, screw the corporate, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yo, me and so many people in my life would not be where they're at without the money or time or anything that came from them that I've put in. One of the interesting things I've learned, recorded a video about this but never posted it, is I appreciate my time so much more now because I don't always have it. Like one of the things, like you might feel this right now, you have no schedule right now. Like you have all the time in the world. And so all of your time is free time. The thing I realize is you value your free time more when most of your time is not free. And when I was working like at my peak, when it was like not, like really bad, like I was constantly working, after like a few weeks or months of working nonstop, I had a moment to breathe. And it was just a moment. Like I had a spare 45 minutes in my calendar and I'm like, it just felt so good. Like I was like, wow, I just appreciate having time. And I realized it's not having something that makes you appreciate having it. And honestly, like there can be no having it if there was no possibility of not having it, which is a really weird concept for people, but if it never rained, there'd be no such thing as sunshine type of thing. You know what I mean? So like the bad is actually very important. The good almost can't exist without the bad. So you almost have to appreciate the bad more and respect it more almost, which that changed my world. But anyway, guys, I don't want to talk your head off, talk my ass off. But just an important video for me. Like a year at IBM, it is growth. I'm like way different. Like, and I've been talking about Gary Vee recently. Like if I was to come back and have a conversation with Gary now versus like, and it's, I talked to him in September and we had a meeting, but like most of my maturity and development has come, not necessarily because of IBM, but like, after meeting Stevie, after doing, just a lot of the stuff in the last 6, 7, 8 months, like, yeah, and I think a lot of the thing too is like all the finesse, like I'm not supposed to, I wasn't supposed to be living in LA for a lot of the, like even now I don't think I'm supposed to have an address there, even though I do, like, and I don't have one in San Francisco, but people don't know that, like, and it's just, there's so much stuff that I don't feel comfortable talking about on camera, which is why the world doesn't see a lot of content from me right now. It's like, I just can't. And I think that's helped too. Like, being younger, like, I always wanted to document everything in the moment, like right now, like, so that, and post it like now. But like, I realize now it's like, just patience, a lot more patience now, because I'm like, wow, okay. In order to enable other things to happen in your life, you actually need to just stay quiet for a bit and not show everyone everything, and that's okay. Like, just keep recording when you have time to and whatever. And like, that was a big thing for me. Is like, yeah, their constraints are a real thing. Like, practicality is a real thing. Like, you can't show things. Like, you can't talk about everything you're doing, because you could either lose your job or make someone else look bad or this or that or whatever. And that was something I had to like kind of swallow for myself, like swallow my pride on it, because it's just, yeah, slowing down, right? Like, a lot of that is, you're trying to go fast and get there fast and impatient to like, but I realized like, this is a long game. And like, if I miss out a year of documentation of my life, it's okay. Like, the world, I'll talk about it after it was over, and like this, right? Like, I think I didn't really show much of the last 2 years of my life on camera, and it kind of sucks because like things have drastically changed, but and I wish I could put that roadmap out there for someone to follow, like, and show them the stress that came along the way, because that's a big part of it. Is like, I was just talking, you probably heard, to someone earlier today, and it's like, yo, like, this is just practice, right? Like, having to balance and manage all of these different things, like, this thing's going wrong over here, this is going wrong over here, this person's mad, like, that's just practice for, what's to come. So, anyway, a lot of growth, a lot of fun shit. I don't even know if Instagram allows 13-minute videos, but probably does. But even now, right, like, having interns and different things, like, funny enough, like, as much as like I could call you an intern, like, you're not, like, you're shadowing, right? Like, it's, and I think I've realized that is a big thing, is like, management is actually harder than just doing the work yourself. Like, for me to actually tell people like, hey, this is what I need you to do, like, it's just so much easier. Delegation is so hard compared to just doing the work when you want, as you want. Because then you have to be like, okay, they didn't do it the way I want it, they did this, that, I have to train them, they don't know this thing, and like, it's just so much more work. And I've learned that, but I've just done a lot over the last year, so that's kind of it. I didn't mean to ramble on this video. It was supposed to be a 1-minute video, but I just don't know what to say. I think that's the whole point of this video, is like, there's so much, like, and it's just a year. Like, 1 year is not that much. I think for you, 1 year probably feels like more than it does for me nowadays, because time is relative. So like, when you're 40, a year goes by like that. But when you're 2, like, a year is half of your life. So the interesting thing too is like, I'm 24. I feel like I'm 22. Once I left college, time froze, like, in terms of my age. It's funny now because I have this whole, all this, but I feel like I've restarted my life several times. Even now, I'm about to again. Like, going to Gary Vee was like chapter 1, and I was like, I guess that was like 22 to 23 or something like that. IBM was like 23 to 24. But like, every time I start a new job, I feel like I'm just going back to 22 and like just restarting another chapter. And it's like starting over, new city, new job, new income, new whatever. And it's like, it doesn't feel like I'm getting older. It feels like I'm just restarting over and over again, which is cool. But I definitely don't feel old. Like, that's the thing that's weird, is like, I feel like going from 18 to 21, I might have felt older over time, but now I just feel like I'm 22 constantly. But the other thing I'm realizing is like, it's not that I feel older, it's that other people seem less mature. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. But just growth, man. Like, for real. Like, the biggest thing is like, if this is where I'm at 20, like, you know, comparing myself from 23 to 24, it's like, okay, if that's how big of a difference from that, and I haven't even really started anything on my own yet, like I've just been doing random little projects, like what's gonna happen when I really start to level up? Right? Like what's 25 to 30 difference gonna look like? Like that's kind of scary too, if I make it that far. So anyway, I know you guys don't get to hear from me that much, so anyway, enjoy this. I'm gonna force myself to post it. Did not intend for that to go that long. It's 2:20 in the morning. It's a lot going on in life right now, but it's good. I'm happy.